attention. Color guard, advance. Would everyone please stand? Color guard, post the colors. Would everyone please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everyone please join me in the Scout Oath. I'll do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout Law, to help other people of all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Thank you. You can now be seated. Color guard, reform. Color guard, retreat.
So welcome, everybody. So, good to see that a good amount of you have turned out today. Thanks for coming. So, today we'll start off with what the Scout Oath is and what it means to me.
On my honor.
Meaning your solemn promise, a promise that relies on your good reputation as to whether or not it will be carried out.
I will do my best.
Your best? What is it? It's giving all you've got when you've got something to do and working on it with all your heart and soul and mind. All the strength and devotion you've got. Then you're doing your best.
To do my duty.
To do the job, to meet the responsibilities, to do what has to be done. Not just halfway, not just half a job, but completely and fully, so you're proud of your work.
To God and my country.
Duty to whom? First, to God. Fulfill your religious responsibilities. Uphold your religious beliefs. Second, to your country. I know you've been told how lucky you are to be living in a free country. I hope that you're aware of it. Being told and being aware are two different things. I hope that you will soon be aware of the responsibility you have to put to your country, your duty.
To obey the Scout Law.
Meaning to obey it, to follow it completely, not just halfway, and not just the first 6 points or the last 3 or every other one, but all 12 points at all times.
To help other people at all times.
To help. It doesn't say much. It can mean saving a life or just changing a tire or carrying a bag of groceries. To help other people, not just your family. And at all times, not just when it's convenient to you or when your scoutmaster is watching, but at all times. And the best time is when you have to go out of your way to do it.
To keep myself physically strong.
Just what it says, physically strong, ready to defend yourself, your scouting principles, your country.
Mentally awake.
Keep alert, observing, always trying to learn.
And morally straight.
And thought and actions decide what is right and what is wrong, and stand by the right. Now, to explain what the Scout Law is and how it ties to George Washington's 57 Rules of Conduct. So, when George Washington was 15 years old, he developed 57 Rules of Conduct for his life, many of which relate directly to the values Scouting teaches. Below are 12 of Washington's rules, each matched with one of the points of the Scout Law.
A scout is trustworthy.
Undertake what you cannot perform, but be careful to uphold your promise.
A scout is loyal.
Be not hasty to believe flying reports to the disparagement of any. Speak not evil of the absent. for it is unjust.
A scout is helpful.
Wherein you reprove another, be blamable yourself. For example, is more prevalent than precepts. In visiting the sick, do you not pay the physician if you do be not knowing therein?
A scout is friendly.
Show not yourself glad at the misfortune of another, though he were your enemy. Let the conversation be without malice or envy.
A scout is courteous.
Be not forward, but friendly and courteous, the first to salute, hear, and answer. Speak not when others speak. Sit not when others stand. Speak not when you should hold your peace. Walk not when others stop. Turn not your back to others, especially in speaking. Lean not on anyone.
A scout is calm.
When a man does all that he can, though it succeeds not well, blame not him that did it.
A scout is obedient.
Honor and obey your natural parents, although they be poor. Strive not with your superiors in argument, but always submit your judgment to others with modesty.
A scout is cheerful.
Speak not of doleful things in times of mirth, nor at the table put on a cheerful countenance, for good humor makes one dish of meat a feast.
A scout is thrifty.
Let your discourse with men of business be short and comprehensive. In your quarrel be modest, and endeavor to accommodate nature rather than to procure admiration.
A scout is brave.
Fight to keep alive in your breast that little spark of celestial fire called conscience.
A scout is clean.
Use no reproachful language against anyone, neither curse nor revile. Let your recreations be manful, not sinful.
A scout is reverent.
When you speak to God or his attributes, let it sincerely be in reverence. Now,
Thank you for coming today. I get to be the pleasure of both Scoutmaster and parent for the ceremony today. This is an awesome occurrence, but then also this last Scout Law was reverent. Little less than just a few hours ago, Pastor Terry's message this morning was about casting stones in water and the ripple that you make. We can see by the ripples that we made here this morning, the ones that Solly has influenced and ones that you have influenced Solly. We have both here this afternoon. Will Eagle candidate Solomon Shaw please come forward? Do you remember when you were a new scout and thought becoming an Eagle seemed a long way off, even an impossible goal?
I do.
Look back at the experiences you've encountered in striving to reach this high achievement. These experiences should not be forgotten. You should profit by making sure these adverse ones do not occur again. Experience is a valuable teacher if you heed its lessons. All the while you were on the trail to Eagle, we watched you study, we watched you learn by doing. You recited the Scout Oath and Scout Law. You showed others how to use a pocket knife safely. You started learning knots. On March 23rd, 2021, you earned your first rank.
I am a scout. My badge represents the International Brotherhood of Scouting, which I have joined.
Okay, so I move stand up, please. Do you remember when you took your first trip or your first step upon the trail to Eagle? With that first step, you began to grow physically, mentally, and morally. You started living the Scout Oath and Law. You went camping, you practiced first aid skills, you showed your level of physical fitness. On April 8th, 2021, you earned the rank of Tenderfoot. Once inspired by the scouting spirit, you did not stay a tenderfoot for very long. You sharpened your cooking and fire-making skills and started earning merit badges. Putting simple achievements behind you, you quickly climbed to the rank of second class on July 15th, 2021.
I am the tenderfoot. I'm second class. The ends of my scroll are turned up like the willing smile of a scout. On my face is the motto, "Be prepared," and suspended from me is the knot tied to remind you of the slogan of the Boy Scouts of America, "Do a good turn daily."
Some, like you, stopped to catch your breath before continuing along the trail. You began to study more and work harder. You were active in your troop activities. You learned how to use a compass. You attended your first summer camp. There, passed the swim test and earned 5 merit badges. Almost before you knew it, you topped the first summit of the Trail of Eagle when you received the first class badge on December 12th, 2021.
I am the first class. I was a tenderfoot, and I laid my course by the stars of truth and knowledge, and grinded myself with the righteousness of justice and freedom. I added a smile that I might be a friend to all, and bound myself together with the knot of duty to others.
Many at this point pause in their trail to Eagle. First class rank is the goal for all members of Scouting to achieve, but your ambition motivated you to keep moving forward. You continued to add to your community service hours, you earned more required merit badges, taught younger scouts the skills they needed for advancement, and took on the leadership positions within the troop. We remember your advancement to Star Scout on April 28th, 2022.
I am the star. Now that I can stand alone, I have the right to improve on my own. To me goes the honor of choosing my field before me lies the horizon of endless opportunities.
The trail from first class to star rank was not as difficult as it seemed. You spurred on. Again, you climbed further. The trail was steeper and less worn. Fewer scouts seemed to be headed in your direction. You looked down and saw the crowds below you. You looked up and saw the few ahead. And with the same determination, you started to climb. You continued up the trail. Reaching the next summit was not easy. More leadership, service, and hard work had to be done. On November 3rd, 2022, you earned the rank of life.
I am the life. I have shown the whole world that scouting is in my heart. I have mastered the knowledge of subjects that will benefit my community, my country, and my fellow man. I am ready to reach for my wings to fly.
While the Life Scout is much coveted position, deserves much credit, the Trail of Eagle does not stop there. It still leads to the final summit. Its pathways narrow, steepen considerably as it winds along the narrow ledge. It becomes tougher and more trying. Many things have done in order to conquer the last miles. Additional merit badges were earned, your leadership and service to others tested through your Eagle Service Project. Only those with the greatest amount of persistence and courage are able to gain the thrill of victory. You were on your way to Eagle.
I am the eagle. Since the beginning of time, man has used my image
Yes, we have watched your character unfold and mature. We have watched your leadership expand to the valuable asset. We have watched your mind develop and your wisdom increase. We have watched all these things in you, and now that you are on the threshold of your goal, we welcome you, for you have done your climbing in a true scout-like manner. We congratulate Solomon Shaw for completing his trail to Eagle.
I would like to re-invite Josh Shaw up to the front for the presentation of the Eagle Scout rank.
Congratulations, Solomon.
So, for the Eagle Scout ceremony, the candidate, well, no longer a candidate, but the now Eagle gets to choose members of his family and community that have helped him through scouting to come up and receive an award. Starting off with the parents, with Josh and Stephanie Shaw, please come to the front.
So beyond being Solly's mother, which I'm very proud about being, I was also his den leader for the last few. Josh and I kind of tag teamed a little bit on that. And when he crossed over, which he'll talk a little bit more about in a moment, which actually happened like right here, a Facebook memory came up that was really almost to the date. Of course, we're all wearing masks because it was still during COVID times. But I gave both of the boys that were in my Arrow of Light den that were going to cross over, I gave them a feather with some beads on it that I had made, and I said, this is on loan to you that I give to you as you start your trail to Eagle, as you cross over into Boy Scouts, that at your Eagle Court of Honor, I would like for you to present this to me. So hopefully the other one who's still in Scouts, hopefully Ross Small will have his Eagle Court of Honor here before too long, but of course this is going back to Solly, but this is just a testament of saying, from the very beginning, he had this in mind. So I'm very proud as a den leader, as a mom. He's a pretty awesome kid.
Next, the grandparent pin. Would Jan Watterson please come up? Jan, while not being involved with Boy Scouts, but shortly leaving after receiving his Arrow of Light in Cub Scouts has been a valuable part of my life, and I would like to honor it. And lastly, the mentor pins. The mentor pins are for the people who have helped the Eagle get through whether that be starting in Cub Scouts, going out throughout Boy Scouts, or finishing their Eagle Scout. To start off, would Davy Shaw please come up? Davy Shaw, while being my brother, was the senior patrol leader for the first few years, if not just the first year of my my scouting journey. Now, of course, as any of you with siblings know, there were conflicts, but after he had received his Eagle, and I'll talk about it in my narrative after this, it did inspire me to keep going. Up next, David Shaw. The other David Shaw is my grandfather. He was the scoutmaster for the first year that I was part of the troop, before switching over to Josh Shaw, as I will explain in my narrative. He has always been supportive of my journey through scouting, and I would like to honor him here. Last, but certainly not least, after she's finished taking pictures, Rhonda Wettrick. Rhonda is the troop committee chair for our troop. So technically, that puts her above Josh. But as she said, that doesn't really matter. Scouts is not just who's in charge, but rather, it's a team. We can't function without each other, and the troop certainly would not function without Rhonda. Anybody out in the audience, take this time to take pictures, and then after everybody has had the chance, return to your seats. I will say that if you did not get a mentor pin, it's not because you did not make an impact on me. I chose my mentor pins based off of their involvement in scouting, their involvement in my journey to scouting, and there is so many of you out in this audience who've made a lasting impact on me. Any members of the church, they've made an impact on me for being so welcoming. Bill Browning, you definitely helped me as the Cub Master for my years in scouting, for my first 2 years before it switched over to Steve Elliott. Eddie Shepard, you were definitely an impact too. You were always kind in there. And just everybody out in the audience, really, that I've interacted with has been so nice. And thank you, truly thank you. So, on that note, Before I get into my journey through scouting, I just want to mention how special the ceremony is. Not just because it's the pinnacle of the scouting adventure, because of you, the audience. Gathered amongst us are scouts, teachers, veterans, friends, family members, members of the Civil Air Patrol. And not to be rude, but I invited them. If they didn't come, that's on me for not giving them good enough notice, as most of them live many hours away. And members of this very church. But all of you are here for one reason, and I believe that that's an achievement of its own. So thank you. I started Cub Scouts in the first grade as a Tiger Scout, and each year brought a new rank. In second grade, I became a Wolf Scout. In third grade, I became a Bear Scout. In fourth grade, though, there was a change. No longer was my rank named after a silly animal, but now the title, Weeblo. This is a made-up word that stands for We Be Loyal Scouts. Weeblos brought with it a new uniform, new achievements required to pass, and new expectation. No longer was every meeting dedicated to purely fun things with a potential lesson behind it, but rather preparation to be a Boy Scout. The Weeblo year brought with it another challenge, COVID. I don't need to explain why it had such an impact on Scouts, as most of you, if not all of you, felt it impact your daily life, work, or your own troops and or other organizations. But we prevailed. In fifth grade, I earned the highest Cub Scout rank, known as Heir of Light. I was still a Weeblo, but I was a step above, and the next step above it brought with it Boy Scouts. After the crossover ceremony, which happened in this very room, almost 4 years exactly, I had become a member of Troop 541. Finally, we are at the Boy Scout portion of my speech. The troop was small when I joined, no doubt about it. Mainly 15 to 17-year-olds waiting to age out and using it as a social time, rather than a way to learn in areas most schools or other organizations don't touch on. I saw 4 scouts leave as Eagle in my first 2 years. All throughout this time, I was trying my best to get through the program, because I thought Scouts was a waste of my time. Didn't make it any better that my brother, Davey Shaw, served as the Scout Senior Patrol Leader. The Senior Patrol Leader is in charge of the Scouts, their well-being and advancement. The Scouting is supposed to be Scout-led, so the Scoutmaster's job is to guide Scouts to reach their goals, but be their case of serious emergencies and to answer any questions any other Scout can't answer. My father, Dave Shaw, led as the Scoutmaster in the first year I was there, before my father, Josh Shaw, started to lead the troop, and he is still the current Scoutmaster. A turning point in my view on scouting was after my brother became an Eagle. It woke me up to see that if he could do it, so could I. He left the position of power at the next election, and another Scout filled his place. My journey in Civil Air Patrol, also known as CAP, was just beginning as well. So I was using leadership skills I had learned from CAP and thought, how can I become the best leader? At the next election, I became Senior Patrol Leader as a Star Scout, the third highest rank. My first month or two were rocky, as to be expected, but with a combination of knowledge from Scouts and CAP, I became a better and better leader. I earned the Life rank, which is the penultimate rank, and started my final stretch to Eagle, but I had stalled. I'd been too ambitious in Scouts, and I was now facing burnout. I had all my required merit badges, plus many others. I'd done my time served, but I still needed to choose and complete my Eagle Scout project. At first, it was hard figuring out what to do. A member of the Jennings County Historical Society had spoken with my Scoutmaster about various ways the troop could help them. The first project idea was to make an ADA sidewalk to an outdoor portion of the museum so more people could enjoy the area. This would also allow the Historical Society to apply for more grants. After making a contract with All Star Paving, we came together on a plan. After 4 or so months, the digging, moving of rocks and planters, and the pouring of concrete was completed. Once the paperwork for the project was completed, the only thing in my way was the Eagle Scout Board of Review. This was the defining line between becoming an Eagle Scout or not. I chose my board to be of 4 members of the scouting community: Bill Browning, Rhonda Wettrick. Bill Browning, as I stated earlier, was my Cub Master. Rhonda Wettrick, as I said, who is the troop committee chairperson. Tony Zizak, who I believe is not here today, but that is all right, who is the vice president of the council programs, and Nancy Madden, who is the James County Eagle coordinator, along with a previous school assistant, Colonel Steve Graham, who is currently away on vacation. If it wasn't obvious by the ceremony, they deemed me worthy to be a Boy Scout. Not Boy Scout, Eagle Scout. If the over 200 hours of community service, the long-standing friendships, and the commitment had all paid off. And that's the story of how a first grader now stands before you 9 years older to finally receive the rank and title named after yet another animal. But this animal isn't named after just a wild, cool, silly animal, but America's national symbol and bird. It is only fitting that the place where the end of my scouting advancement happens should be in the building where I went through my Cub Scout years and I became a Boy Scout in. Thank you all. Now, would all Eagle Scouts in attendance please stand, give the Scout sign, and repeat the Eagle Oath after me. I reaffirm my allegiance. I reaffirm my allegiance to the 3 promises of the Scout Oath. To the 3 promises of the Scout Oath. I thoughtfully recognize, and take upon myself, the obligations and responsibility of an Eagle Scout. The obligations and responsibilities of an Eagle Scout. On my honor, I will do my best. On my honor, I will do my best to make my training an example, and my status and my influence, count strongly for better scouting. Count strongly for better scouting. And for better citizenship in my troop. In my community, and in my contacts with other people. To this, I pledge my sacred honor. Two. All right. Would Davy Shaw return to the front and have the flags repeated?
Color guard, reform. Color guard, retrieve the colors. Color guard, about face. Color guard, return. Thank you all for coming today. There is cake downstairs to celebrate.
So, any member of the church who knows where the library is, that's where the reception is happening. So.